Good evening, and welcome back my channel Sleep Beneath History, my friend. Tonight, we are going to travel together to a place that many people have heard about only in passing, yet it was once one of the most respected kingdoms in all of Central Africa. It was a land of green forests, wide rivers, busy villages, skilled craftspeople, thoughtful rulers, and families whose daily lives followed the quiet rhythm of nature. Before we begin our gentle journey, if you enjoy peaceful history stories like this one, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this little corner of relaxing history continue to grow, and it truly means a great deal. Now, settle into a comfortable position. Allow your shoulders to relax. Take a slow breath in, and let it gently drift away. There is nowhere you need to be. Nothing you need to solve. For the next little while, we will simply wander through history together. Imagine the soft warmth of the African sun resting over endless green forests. Hear birds singing in the distance while the wind quietly moves through tall trees. Somewhere nearby, a river flows with calm confidence, carrying small wooden canoes along its smooth surface. This is not a place of loud battles or hurried adventures tonight. Instead, this is a story about ordinary people. People who woke with the sunrise. People who planted crops. People who laughed with their children. People who honored their ancestors. People who built one of Africa's great kingdoms long before much of the outside world truly understood its greatness. As the evening grows softer around us, let us begin our slow walk into the Kingdom of Kongo. Imagine that it is the early 15th century. The morning mist still hangs gently above the rivers. The first rays of sunlight slowly reach the tops of enormous trees. Everything feels peaceful. The forest seems almost endless. It stretches far beyond the horizon, filled with towering trees whose leaves create a green roof above the earth below. Small streams weave quietly through the undergrowth. Birds call to one another from hidden branches, while insects begin their daily songs. Far away from the crowded cities of Europe and Asia, another great civilization is already thriving. This is the Kingdom of Kongo. It is one of Africa's largest and most organized kingdoms. Its people do not think of themselves as living in some distant or forgotten corner of the world. This is their home. To them, these rivers are familiar friends. These forests are generous providers. These villages are places filled with family, tradition, and memory. The kingdom covers a vast area that today would include parts of modern Angola, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Republic of the Congo, and Gabon. But tonight, there is no need to remember maps or borders. Instead, simply imagine a landscape alive with gentle movement. Tall palm trees sway softly. Banana plants spread broad green leaves. Vines climb ancient trunks. Wild flowers bloom beneath patches of sunlight. The air feels warm but comfortable. A soft breeze carries the rich scent of damp earth after yesterday's rain. Nearby, a narrow footpath winds through the forest. Generations have walked this very trail. Children chasing one another. Hunters returning home. Women carrying baskets balanced gracefully upon their heads. Village elders walking slowly with carved wooden staffs. Every footprint tells a story. As we follow this path, the forest gradually begins to open. Ahead, smoke rises gently into the morning sky. Not from destruction, not from danger, simply from cooking fires. The village is waking. Round homes stand together in small groups. Their walls are made from woven branches covered with smooth clay. Their roofs are thick with carefully layered grass. The buildings seem to belong naturally within the landscape. Nothing appears forced. Everything feels connected. Children begin to step outside. Some stretch sleepily. Others immediately begin laughing together. Dogs wander between the houses, hoping someone might share a small piece of breakfast. Roosters proudly announce the arrival of another beautiful day. An elderly woman kneels beside a clay cooking pot. She gently stirs warm porridge while speaking quietly to her granddaughter. The little girl watches every movement carefully. One day, she too will prepare meals for her own family. Knowledge here is rarely written. Instead, it is passed from one generation to another through observation, conversation, and patience. Nearby, a young man repairs a fishing net. His fingers move with practiced skill. Every knot matters. A strong net means fresh fish for many families. Another villager carefully sharpens a wooden farming tool. Not because he enjoys sharpening it, because tomorrow's work depends upon today's preparation. Life here follows the seasons. The people understand that nature cannot be rushed. Seeds need time. Rain comes in its own season. Fruit ripens only when it is ready. The people of Kongo have learned to live alongside these natural rhythms rather than struggle against them. Perhaps this is one reason their lives seem so calm. They work hard, very hard, but they also understand patience. As the morning continues, more people gather near the center of the village. Some exchange greetings. Others discuss the coming day's work. Their conversations are relaxed. There is laughter. There are smiles. There is no great hurry. The village itself is part of something much larger. Many villages together form districts. These districts belong to provinces. And together, these provinces make up the Kingdom of Kongo. It is a kingdom with structure, with leadership, with customs that have developed over many generations. Far away, beyond forests and rivers, stands the royal capital known as Kongo. It rests upon high ground where cool breezes often drift across the hills. People from many different regions travel there. Messengers, merchants, craftsmen, leaders, visitors carrying gifts. The roads leading toward the capital are not empty. They are living pathways connecting communities across the kingdom. Some travelers carry baskets filled with salt. Others transport woven cloth. Some bring beautifully carved wooden objects. Others lead goats or carry bundles of dried fish. Trade is part of everyday life, not only because people need goods, but because trade also builds friendships, relationships, trust. As we continue walking, we notice something else. The people greet one another with respect. Age is honored here. Experience matters. An elder's words carry weight because they have witnessed many seasons. Young people listen, not because they are forced, but because wisdom is valued. This respect reaches beyond the living. Ancestors remain an important part of daily life. Families remember those who came before them. Stories are told around evening fires. Names are spoken with affection. Lessons are repeated so they will never be forgotten. History lives inside memory, not inside books. The Kingdom of Kongo has no great stone castles like those of Europe. It does not need them. Its strength comes from its people, its organization, its traditions, its ability to bring many communities together under shared leadership. As the sun climbs higher into the sky, more sounds fill the village. Wood being shaped into bowls, children practicing songs, women weaving baskets. Someone laughs loudly before everyone else joins in. A drummer taps a gentle rhythm while working. Life itself creates music. Even ordinary sounds become part of the day's melody. Imagine sitting beneath the shade of a large tree. Its branches stretch wide overhead. A cool breeze brushes your face. You watch villagers moving peacefully through their daily routines. Nobody seems rushed. Nobody appears alone for long. Community surrounds every person. Work is shared. Food is shared. Stories are shared. Even sorrow, when it comes, is shared. Perhaps this feeling of togetherness is one of the kingdom's greatest treasures. As afternoon approaches, the sunlight grows softer. Long shadows begin reaching across the village paths. Some children gather fruit. Others help collect firewood. Older boys return from checking animal traps. Fishermen carry baskets filled with shining river fish. Everyone contributes in their own way. There is quiet satisfaction in useful work. No one expects life to be effortless. But together, challenges become lighter. The village continues breathing like a single living family. As evening slowly arrives, smoke once again rises gently from cooking fires. The rich aroma of roasted vegetables, fresh fish, and warm grains drifts through the air. Families begin gathering outside their homes. Conversations become slower. The work of the day has ended. Now comes the time for sharing meals, telling stories, and enjoying one another's company. Above them, the sky changes from bright blue to soft orange, then to gentle purple. Soon, countless stars begin appearing overhead. Without city lights, the heavens seem endless. The Milky Way stretches across the darkness like a quiet river of light. Somewhere nearby, an elder begins telling an old story. Children sit close together. Their eyes grow wide with quiet wonder. Adults smile gently. They have heard these stories many times before. Yet they still listen. Because stories connect the past with the present. They remind everyone who they are and where they belong. As the night grows quiet and the forest begins its peaceful evening chorus, let us leave this welcoming village behind for now. Our gentle journey through the Kingdom of Kongo has only just begun. In our next chapter, we will follow the rivers that gave life to this remarkable kingdom and discover how the land itself shaped the lives of its people. For now, simply listen to the soft sounds of the night. Imagine the warm glow of village fires fading into the darkness, and allow yourself to drift a little deeper into this peaceful world where history whispers instead of shouts. As the night grows quieter, let us continue our slow journey. The village behind us has settled into peaceful silence. The last conversations around the evening fires have become soft whispers. Children have fallen asleep beneath woven blankets. The stars continue their quiet watch above the forest. Now, imagine that a new morning is beginning. The first light appears slowly along the eastern horizon. Mist hangs low over the valleys, covering the earth like a soft white blanket. The air feels cool and fresh. Tiny drops of dew rest upon every leaf and blade of grass. Before the people begin their work, the land itself seems to awaken. A bird sings from somewhere high in a tall tree. Another answers from farther away. Soon the entire forest becomes filled with gentle songs. The Kingdom of Kongo was blessed with a landscape that provided almost everything its people needed. It was a place where nature offered generous gifts, but only to those who treated it with patience and respect. Imagine yourself standing on a gentle hill. Before you stretches an endless sea of green. Tall forests cover much of the land. Thick vines climb ancient trees that have stood for hundreds of years. Sunlight slips through the leaves in narrow golden beams, painting quiet patterns upon the forest floor. Some trees are so large that several people would have to join hands to reach around their trunks. Beneath them grow shrubs, flowering plants, mushrooms, and countless kinds of ferns. Everything seems alive. Nothing is truly still. Even when the air is calm, small insects hum quietly, Butterflies drift between flowers, and tiny lizards disappear beneath fallen leaves. The forest is not an enemy. It is not something to conquer. To the people of Kongo, it is a trusted companion. It provides wood for homes, plants for medicine, fruit for eating, fibers for weaving, animals for hunting, shade from the hot afternoon sun. Many children learn the forest long before they can travel far from their villages. Their parents teach them which berries are safe, which trees produce useful bark, which plants can help a sick family member, which paths lead safely home. Knowledge of nature becomes part of growing up. There are no classrooms beneath stone roofs. Instead, the forest itself becomes the teacher. Lessons are learned while walking, while watching, while listening, and perhaps most importantly, while asking questions. A curious child is often a wise adult later in life. As we continue our gentle walk, the sound of moving water begins to grow louder. Soon the trees begin to open. Before us lies one of the kingdom's great rivers. Its surface shines beneath the morning sun like polished silver. The current moves steadily but calmly. Not too fast, not too slow. The river has been flowing here for countless generations. Long before today's villages. Long before today's kings. Long before anyone living can remember. The rivers of Kongo are the great roads of the kingdom. Where dense forests make walking difficult, rivers offer smooth and reliable travel. Imagine several wooden canoes resting quietly along the riverbank. Each has been carefully carved from the trunk of a single large tree. Creating one canoe requires patience. Days of careful cutting, careful shaping, careful smoothing. Nothing is rushed. The finished canoe is both strong and graceful. Now imagine two fishermen gently pushing one into the water. The canoe rocks softly as they climb aboard. One sits at the front, the other at the back. Their paddles enter the water almost without a sound. Slowly they begin their journey. There is no need to hurry. The river carries them with quiet confidence. As they travel, they pass other villages built close to the water. Women wash baskets near the riverbank. Children splash carefully in the shallow edges under the watchful eyes of their parents. Older boys practice steering small canoes. Elders sit beneath trees, watching the peaceful activity with gentle smiles. The river connects them all. News travels along these waters. Visitors arrive by canoe. Merchants exchange goods. Families visit relatives living farther downstream. Even the king's messengers often travel this way, carrying important news between provinces. Without these rivers, the kingdom would feel much larger, much farther apart. Instead, the waterways quietly weave communities together. The river also feeds the people. Fish are plentiful. Tilapia, catfish, many other species whose names have been spoken for generations in local languages. Fishing is not simply about catching food. It is about understanding nature. A skilled fisherman knows where fish gather after rain. He knows which quiet pools hold larger fish. He understands how changing seasons affect the water. These lessons cannot be learned in a single afternoon. They come only through years of careful observation. Imagine an elderly fisherman teaching his grandson. The boy watches every movement. How the net is folded. How it is thrown. How patiently they wait. The grandfather rarely gives long speeches. Instead, he teaches through example. The boy learns by doing. One day, he will pass these same lessons to another child. Knowledge flows through families, just as the river flows through the land. As the morning grows warmer, We leave the riverbank and continue farther across the countryside. Soon the thick forest gives way to open fields. The earth here is rich and dark. Farmers have already begun their work. Some gently loosen the soil using wooden hoes. Others carry woven baskets filled with seeds. The people understand that the earth is generous when treated kindly. Many different crops grow here. Bananas, yams, beans, millet, oil palms, and later in history, crops brought from distant lands, such as cassava and maize, become important as well. Every growing season follows familiar rhythms. Preparing the fields, planting, waiting, weeding, watching the skis, finally harvesting. Each step requires patience. Nature refuses to be hurried. This slow rhythm shapes the hearts of the people themselves. Children quickly learn that no amount of wishing can make fruit ripen faster. No amount of worrying can force the rain to come early. Some things simply arrive in their proper time. Perhaps this is one of the quiet lessons the land teaches every generation. As we continue walking, clouds begin gathering overhead. Not dark, frightening clouds. Gentle rain clouds. Soon small drops begin falling. Softly, almost playfully, the scent of fresh rain rises from the earth. Leaves sparkle beneath tiny droplets. The forest seems to breathe more deeply. Nobody panics. Nobody runs in fear. Rain is welcomed here. It brings life. Farmers smile as they look toward the sky. Children laugh while feeling cool drops upon their faces. Within a short time, the shower passes. The sun returns. Steam rises gently from the warm ground. Everything looks brighter, cleaner, more alive. Along the edge of the forest, we notice signs of wildlife. Fresh footprints pressed into soft mud. Perhaps a forest antelope passed here before sunrise. Bright feathers rest beside the path, where a bird paused only moments ago. High above, monkeys move carefully through the branches. Farther away, colorful parrots fly together in noisy groups. Animals are an important part of life. Some provide food. Some are respected for their strength. Others appear in stories that teach children important lessons about wisdom, kindness, or foolishness. Nature and storytelling are closely connected. A clever tortoise, a patient elephant, a watchful bird. These creatures become teachers within many traditional tales. As afternoon approaches, the forest becomes quieter. The heat encourages both people and animals to move more slowly. Even the breeze seems softer now. Imagine resting beneath a great tree once again. Its broad branches provide cool shade. Nearby, a stream trickles over smooth stones. Dragonflies glide above the water. The peaceful sounds seem almost like music. It is easy to understand why the people of Kongo felt deeply connected to this land. It fed them, sheltered them, guided them, comforted them. Their lives followed the rhythm of sunrise and sunset. The changing seasons, the coming rains, the flowing rivers. Nothing existed separately. People, animals, forests, rivers, and sky all formed one great living world. As evening slowly approaches once more, golden sunlight stretches across the fields. Farmers gather their tools. Fishermen return home. Children carry baskets filled with fruit collected during the day. Smoke begins rising once again from village cooking fires. The familiar scents of roasting vegetables, fresh fish, and warm grains drift gently through the cooling air. The day's work is finished. Now comes the quiet reward of rest. Families gather together. Meals are shared. Stories begin once again. Laughter rises softly into the evening sky before slowly fading beneath the growing blanket of stars. Above, the moon climbs peacefully over the forests of Kongo. Its silver light touches the rivers, making them shine like ribbons of glass winding through the dark landscape. The kingdom rests. The forests rest. The rivers continue their endless journey. And so, as our own evening grows quieter, let us leave the peaceful countryside behind. In our next chapter, we will step inside the villages themselves. We will meet the families who called this kingdom home. We will discover how homes were built, how children learned, how neighbors helped one another, and how ordinary days became the foundation of one of Africa's greatest kingdoms. Until then, allow the gentle sound of flowing water to remain in your thoughts, carrying you slowly and peacefully into the next part of our journey. As the moon slowly fades behind the western hills, another peaceful morning arrives in the Kingdom of Kongo. The first light touches the tops of the tallest trees. Mist rises gently from the rivers. The cool air carries the scent of damp earth, fresh leaves, and wood smoke left from the night's cooking fires. Somewhere nearby, a rooster calls. Then another. Soon the village begins to wake. Imagine yourself standing just outside one of these villages. From a distance, it looks almost like a small clearing carefully placed within the endless forest. Tall trees surround it on every side, offering shade from the hot afternoon sun and shelter from strong winds. The people have lived in harmony with this land for generations. Rather than forcing the landscape to change, they have learned to build their homes in ways that fit naturally within it. As we walk closer, the quiet sounds of morning become clearer. Children laugh softly. A baby begins to cry before being gently comforted by its mother. Someone sweeps the open space in front of a house, using a bundle of long grass. Nearby, an old man hums a familiar tune while repairing a wooden stool. Everything feels calm. Nothing seems hurried. The homes themselves are simple, yet thoughtfully made. They are built from materials gathered nearby. Straight wooden poles form the frame. Flexible branches are woven together to create strong walls. These walls are then covered with smooth clay mixed with grass, making them firm enough to protect against rain and wind. Above, thick roofs of dried grass or palm leaves keep the inside cool during the hottest part of the day. Each house seems to belong to the earth around it. Their colors match the soil. Their shapes echo the gentle curves of the surrounding hills. No two homes are exactly alike. Each reflects the hands that built it. Imagine stepping quietly inside one of these homes. The light is soft. Sunshine enters through the doorway, creating warm patterns across the smooth earthen floor. There is no unnecessary furniture. Every object has a purpose. Carefully woven sleeping mats rest against one wall. Clay pots stand neatly arranged nearby. Wooden bowls and carved spoons wait for the next family meal. Bundles of dried herbs hang from the roof beams, filling the room with a gentle, earthy scent. The air feels peaceful. Comfort does not come from owning many things. It comes from knowing that everything you need is close at hand. Outside, the village is becoming busier. Families begin preparing for another day. The Kingdom of Kongo is built not only by kings and leaders. It is built every single morning by ordinary people. By mothers preparing breakfast. By fathers repairing tools. By grandparents sharing stories. By children learning how to become capable adults. Every person has a place. Every task has meaning. Imagine a young boy walking beside his father. The father carries a wooden hoe across one shoulder. The boy carries a much smaller one. His tool is almost too large for him. Still, he insists on helping. His father smiles but says very little. There is no need for long lessons today. The boy will learn simply by watching. Watching how the soil is turned. Watching where seeds are placed. Watching how patiently each movement is made. Nearby, a little girl follows her grandmother toward a small garden behind the house. The older woman points gently toward different plants. Some are vegetables. Some are herbs. Others are used to make medicines. She explains which leaves soothe a fever, which roots ease a stomach ache, which flowers attract helpful insects. The girl listens carefully. One day, these quiet lessons may help protect her own family. Education here happens every day. Not inside classrooms, but within everyday life itself. The village becomes a place where every ordinary moment teaches something valuable. Children are encouraged to watch, to ask, to remember. Many lessons are repeated again and again until they become part of daily habit. Respect your elders. Share your food. Care for younger children. Finish your work before you rest. Speak honestly. Welcome visitors kindly. These values are not written in books. They live inside the actions of the community. As the morning continues, more people gather in the open center of the village. This space serves many purposes. Here, important discussions take place. Visitors are welcomed. Children play games. Festivals are celebrated. Stories are told after sunset. Today, however, it is simply another ordinary morning. A group of women sit together, weaving beautiful baskets from long strips of palm fiber. Their hands move almost without thinking. Years of practice have made every movement smooth and graceful. While they work, they talk quietly. They exchange news. They laugh gently. Sometimes they fall into comfortable silence. The work itself becomes peaceful. Not far away, several men carefully shape pieces of wood into tools. One carves a new handle for a farming hoe. Another repairs a fishing paddle. A younger craftsman slowly carves a small wooden toy for his daughter. He smiles to himself as he works, imagining her excitement when she sees it later. Nothing is wasted. Broken tools are repaired. Old baskets are mended. Useful objects are cared for until they can no longer serve. This careful way of living reflects deep respect for both nature and hard work. Imagine hearing the steady rhythm of someone pounding grain inside a large wooden mortar. Thump it. Pause. Thump it. Pause. The sound echoes softly through the village. It has echoed here every morning for generations. Nearby, another family grinds dried seeds into flour using smooth stones. Children watch carefully, waiting for breakfast. Soon warm porridge fills wooden bowls. Fresh fruit is placed beside it. Perhaps there is roasted fish left from yesterday's catch. Meals are simple, but they are shared. Nobody rushes away while eating. Conversation is as important as the food itself. As the sun climbs higher into the sky, children begin their own adventures. Some practice throwing small wooden spears at carefully chosen targets. Not for fighting, but for learning the skills that hunters will one day need. Others climb low trees with remarkable confidence. Several girls gather beneath a large tree, singing songs taught by their mothers and grandmothers. Small children invent games using sticks, stones, and imagination. Their laughter drifts through the warm air. Play is not separate from learning. Every game teaches balance, cooperation, observation, patience, friendship. Older children often care for younger ones. A 10-year-old may gently carry a sleepy toddler on her back while helping her mother with simple chores. Responsibility arrives gradually. Each year brings a little more trust. A little more independence. No one expects perfection, only steady growth. As afternoon approaches, the village grows quieter. Many adults are working in nearby fields or fishing along the rivers. Those who remain behind move more slowly beneath the heat of the sun. An elder sits beneath a large tree, surrounded by several curious children. He begins telling one of the old stories. It is not simply entertainment. The story teaches wisdom. Perhaps it tells of a clever tortoise who succeeds through patience rather than strength. Or perhaps it speaks of a hunter who learns that pride often leads to mistakes. The children listen closely. Sometimes they laugh. Sometimes they think quietly. These stories help shape the next generation. History, values, and imagination all become woven together. The spoken word is precious. A well-told story can travel farther than any traveler. As the heat begins to soften, people slowly return from their work. Farmers arrive carrying baskets balanced carefully upon their heads. Fishermen bring fresh catches wrapped in broad green leaves. Hunters return with whatever the forest has generously provided. Children hurry to greet their parents. Dogs bark happily. Neighbors call to one another across the open spaces. Soon cooking fires are lit once again. Thin columns of smoke rise peacefully into the evening sky. The familiar scents of roasted vegetables, palm oil, fish, and freshly prepared grains fill the cool air. Women stir large clay pots, while family members prepare wooden bowls for supper. The meal belongs to everyone. No one eats alone if it can be helped. Visitors are welcomed. Travelers are invited to share food. Hospitality is considered a quiet act of honor. Imagine sitting beside one of these evening fires. The flames dance gently before you. Above, countless stars begin appearing one by one. The air grows pleasantly cool. Someone begins softly tapping a small drum. Not loudly, just enough to accompany a quiet song. Others join with gentle voices. Children lean against their parents. Grandparents smile as familiar melodies fill the evening. No grand performance is taking place. This is simply family life. Simple, peaceful, beautiful in its own quiet way. The people of Kongo understand something that many busy worlds often forget. A meaningful life is built from ordinary days, from shared meals, from honest work, from kind words, from patient teaching, from evenings spent together beneath the stars. As darkness settles fully across the village, one by one the fires burn lower. Families return inside their homes. The songs fade into silence. Only the distant sound of insects and the whisper of the forest remain awake. The Kingdom of Kongo sleeps peacefully. And so, as our own journey continues, let us quietly leave these welcoming homes behind. In our next chapter, we will travel beyond the village to meet the rulers of the kingdom. We will discover how the kings governed such a vast land, how messages traveled across great distances, how justice was maintained, and why leadership in Kongo depended not only upon power, but also upon wisdom, respect, and the trust of the people. Until then, let the warmth of the evening fire and the gentle sounds of this peaceful village remain with you, carrying you softly into the next chapter of our journey through the Kingdom of Kongo. As the stars slowly disappear into the pale light of dawn, our gentle journey continues. The village we visited has begun another peaceful day. Smoke rises once again from cooking fires. Farmers are preparing their tools. Children are beginning their morning chores. The familiar rhythm of everyday life continues just as it has for generations. But today, instead of remaining in one small village, let us travel farther. Imagine following a well-worn path that stretches beyond the forest. It winds over gentle hills, crosses small streams, and joins larger roads where travelers from many different villages meet one another. These roads are not made of stone. They are simple earth paths, shaped by countless footsteps over many years. Every traveler adds another footprint. Every journey keeps the road alive. As we walk, we begin meeting people from many different parts of the kingdom. A merchant carries neatly folded cloth across his shoulders. Another traveler leads several goats along the path. A woman balances a basket of dried fish upon her head, with such perfect balance that she barely seems to notice its weight. Nearby, two young men carry bundles of carved wooden bowls that will soon be traded in a distant market. Everyone greets one another warmly. A smile, a quiet word, a respectful nod. The road itself becomes a place where friendships begin and news quietly spreads. Someone speaks of a successful harvest in a neighboring province. Another has heard that new visitors have arrived from lands near the great ocean. A messenger quietly shares news from the royal court. Without newspapers or written notices reaching every village, conversation becomes one of the kingdom's most valuable ways of sharing information. The farther we travel, the busier the road becomes. Soon the forest begins to thin. The land rises gently beneath our feet. Ahead, standing proudly upon a broad hill, we finally see the capital. This is Kongo, the heart of the kingdom, the home of its ruler, the place where important decisions are made. Imagine standing for a moment, looking across the city. Unlike the crowded cities of Europe or Asia, Kongo feels open and spacious. Homes stand in carefully arranged neighborhoods. Wide open spaces separate different parts of the city. Large trees provide welcome shade throughout the settlement. People move calmly through the streets. Some are local families. Others have traveled many days to reach the capital. The city feels alive without ever feeling hurried. This is a place where many different voices come together. Different villages, different provinces, different families, yet all belong to the same kingdom. As we slowly enter the city, we notice that many visitors carry gifts. Some bring finely woven baskets. Others offer beautiful cloth. Some present carved ivory. Others carry bundles of salt or polished copper objects. These are not simply presents. They are symbols of respect. They remind everyone that the kingdom is held together through relationships as much as through authority. Now imagine approaching the royal residence. It is larger than the surrounding buildings, but still built using familiar local materials. Wood, clay, grass. Nothing appears extravagant simply for the sake of display. Instead, the residence reflects dignity, order, responsibility. Nearby stand open gathering places where advisors, chiefs, and respected elders meet to discuss matters affecting the kingdom. The king does not spend every hour giving commands. Much of leadership involves listening. Listening to village leaders. Listening to provincial governors. Listening to experienced elders. Listening to trusted messengers. A wise ruler understands that no single person can see everything happening across such a large land. The Kingdom of Kongo is divided into provinces. Each province has its own local leader. These leaders help solve problems within their communities. They organize work. They settle disagreements. They collect tribute for the king. They also make sure that the traditions of the kingdom are respected. In this way, the kingdom remains connected. Power flows outward from the capital. Information flows back toward it. Imagine a messenger arriving after several days of travel. Dust covers his feet. His sandals show signs of many long miles. He bows respectfully before the royal advisors. Then he quietly delivers news from a distant province. Perhaps heavy rains have damaged several farming villages. Perhaps a successful harvest promises abundant food this year. Perhaps 2 neighboring communities have asked for help settling a disagreement. Every message matters. The king listens carefully. Leadership here is not simply about making grand speeches. It is about understanding many small details. The happiness of ordinary people depends upon thoughtful decisions. The ruler knows this well. As the morning continues, visitors gather in one of the city's open meeting places. Some have traveled to resolve disputes. Others seek permission to begin new trading journeys. A few simply wish to pay their respects before returning home. Disagreements are treated seriously. Yet the goal is rarely punishment alone. Instead, leaders often seek restoration, peace between families, understanding between neighbors, balance within the community. Imagine 2 farmers standing before respected elders. Perhaps they disagree about the boundary between their fields. Rather than shouting, both quietly explain their understanding. Witnesses speak. Older villagers remember where earlier generations planted certain trees. After careful discussion, a decision is reached. Both men accept it. The matter ends peacefully. Justice is strongest when people trust those who provide it. Trust is built slowly, through fairness, through patience, through consistency. As we continue exploring the capital, we notice another important feature: the marketplace. It stretches across a broad open area where merchants arrange their goods upon woven mats. There is no loud shouting, no frantic bargaining. Instead, conversations flow gently from one stall to another. Imagine walking slowly among them. Brightly colored, woven cloth catches the morning sunlight. Beautiful baskets display remarkable craftsmanship. Wooden stools are carved with elegant patterns. Clay pots of many shapes stand waiting for new owners. Fresh fruits fill large woven trays. Bananas, palm nuts, yams, beans, bundles of leafy vegetables. Nearby, fishermen display freshly caught river fish. Hunters offer smoked meat, carefully prepared to last many days. Every object tells a story. Every craft reflects years of practice. Trade is more than exchanging goods. It is also an exchange of knowledge. New farming ideas, stories from distant villages, news of changing seasons, friendships formed between people who may never have met otherwise. The marketplace becomes one of the kingdom's great meeting places. As the afternoon sun rises higher, we hear music drifting softly through the city. Not because a celebration is taking place, simply because music belongs naturally within daily life. Someone taps a drum while working. Another quietly plays a simple instrument carved from wood. Children sing together as they carry water. The city breathes with quiet harmony. Imagine sitting beneath a large tree near the royal gathering place. Several elders sit nearby discussing matters affecting the kingdom. Their voices remain calm. Nobody interrupts. Each person waits patiently before speaking. Wisdom here is measured not by speaking first, but by speaking thoughtfully. Many of these elders have watched several kings rule. They have seen good harvests, hard seasons, years of peace, moments of uncertainty. Their experience helps guide the future. The king values their counsel because true leadership is never carried alone. As afternoon slowly gives way to evening, long shadows stretch across Kongo. Travelers begin preparing for tomorrow's journeys home. Merchants carefully pack away unsold goods. Messengers receive fresh instruction for distant provinces. Cooking fires begin appearing across the city. The familiar scent of evening meals fills the cooling air. Families gather once again. Children eagerly share everything they witnessed during their visit to the capital. Perhaps they saw the king from a distance. Perhaps they watched skilled craftsmen at work. Perhaps they simply enjoyed seeing so many people gathered in one place. Every visit becomes a memory. Every journey strengthens the ties that hold the kingdom together. Soon darkness settles over Kongo. The royal residence grows quiet. The marketplace falls silent. Only a few watchmen remain awake, keeping a gentle eye over the peaceful city. Above them, thousands of stars shine across the clear African sky. The same stars watch over every village, every forest, every river, every family throughout the kingdom. The king may guide the land, but it is the countless ordinary people who give the kingdom its true strength. As our own evening becomes quieter, let us gently leave the capital behind. In our next chapter, we will step away from the royal court and return to the homes of ordinary families. Together, we will explore childhood, marriage, family traditions, and the quiet customs that shaped each generation from birth to old age. Until then, imagine the peaceful city of Kongo resting beneath the stars, its roads empty, its fires glowing softly, and its people sleeping peacefully as another calm night embraces the Kingdom of Kongo. As another peaceful dawn spreads across the Kingdom of Kongo, the first light gently touches the roofs of quiet villages. The stars slowly fade into the brightening sky, and the cool morning air carries the familiar scent of fresh earth after the night's dew. The forests awaken before the people do. Birds begin their gentle songs. Leaves rustle softly as a light breeze passes through the trees. Somewhere in the distance, a river continues its endless journey, flowing just as it did yesterday and just as it will tomorrow. Nature keeps its own quiet schedule. The people of Kongo have learned to live within that rhythm. Today, let us leave the royal capital behind for a while and return to the villages, where most of the kingdom's people spend their lives. For it is here, among simple homes and familiar faces, that every generation begins its story. Imagine walking into a village just as the morning sun reaches above the trees. Children are already awake. Some help sweep the open spaces between the houses. Others carry small clay pots to collect fresh water. A few younger children still rub sleep from their eyes while holding tightly to the hands of their mothers. Life begins early here, not because anyone demands it, but because the rising sun invites everyone to begin another useful day. Every family is different, yet they all share something important. They belong not only to one another, but also to the wider community. Parents raise their children with love and patience, but grandparents, aunts, uncles, older cousins, and trusted neighbors all help shape a child's life. No one grows up entirely alone. Imagine a little boy no older than 5 years old. He follows his older brother everywhere. If his brother carries firewood, he carries a tiny bundle as well. If his brother watches the goats, he watches beside him. Sometimes he helps. Sometimes he simply observes. Both are valuable. Learning begins long before anyone expects perfection. Nearby, a young girl sits beside her grandmother beneath the shade of a large tree. The older woman is weaving a basket. Her fingers move with slow confidence. The girl tries to copy each movement. Her first attempts are uneven. Several strips slip loose. She frowns for a moment, but her grandmother only smiles. She quietly adjusts the weaving and encourages her to try again. Patience is one of the greatest gifts an elder can offer. Every skilled craftsperson was once a beginner. Children in the Kingdom of Kongo are not expected to know everything immediately. Instead, they learn little by little, season after season, year after year. Knowledge grows slowly, like the great trees surrounding their villages. One lesson follows another. How to greet an elder respectfully. How to carry water without spilling it. How to recognize animal tracks. How to plant seeds at the proper time. How to listen before speaking. These quiet lessons become the foundation of adulthood. As the morning continues, children gather together for games. There are no factory-made toys, no printed game boards. Instead, imagination fills the village. A smooth stick becomes a spear for practice. Small stones become counting games. Leaves become pretend boats floating through tiny streams. Older children invent contests of running, balance, and careful aim. Laughter fills the warm air. Play is joyful, but it also prepares children for life. Strong legs help future farmers. Steady hands help future craftsmen. Sharp eyes help future hunters. Kindness helps everyone. Imagine watching a group of children sitting together beneath a large tree. An elder begins telling one of the old stories. His voice is calm, never hurried. Sometimes the children laugh. Sometimes they fall completely silent. The stories speak of clever animals, wise ancestors, patient travelers, generous neighbors. Each tale carries a lesson hidden gently inside it. A child may first remember the adventure. Years later, the deeper meaning quietly reveals itself. In this way, wisdom grows naturally. The spoken word holds great importance. Stories are treasures carefully protected from one generation to the next. As children grow older, they slowly accept greater responsibilities. A young boy may begin joining hunting trips with older relatives. At first, he carries only simple supplies. Later, he learns how to move quietly through the forest, how to observe birds, how to notice broken branches, how to understand the signs left by animals. These lessons cannot be rushed. The forest rewards careful observation. It offers little to those who hurry. Young girls also take on new responsibilities over time. They learn gardening, cooking, weaving, caring for younger brothers and sisters, preparing useful medicines from local plants. Yet these are not simply chores. They are expressions of care. Each skill strengthens the family. Each lesson helps the village thrive. As afternoon approaches, imagine a family working together in a nearby field. The father loosens the soil. The mother plants seeds with careful hands. Older children carry baskets. Younger ones gather fallen branches for firewood. Nobody gives orders loudly. Everyone understands their role. Work becomes easier because it is shared. There is conversation, gentle laughter, occasional songs. The field feels less like a workplace and more like an extension of the family itself. One of the quiet strengths of the Kingdom of Kongo is this sense of cooperation. Success rarely belongs to one person alone. When harvests are good, families celebrate together. When illness comes, neighbors offer help. When someone builds a new home, many hands assist. Community is woven into daily life, just as carefully as the baskets made beneath the village trees. As the seasons pass, children slowly become young adults. This stage of life brings new responsibilities. It is also a time of learning deeper traditions. Elders teach them about family history, about their ancestors, about the duties they will soon carry. Many communities mark this transition with ceremonies that recognize a young person's growing maturity. These moments are important, not because they suddenly change someone overnight, but because they remind everyone that growing older also means growing wiser. Marriage, too, is viewed as an important step within the community. Imagine a young man who has worked diligently for many years. He has earned the respect of his elders. He is known for his honesty, his kindness, his willingness to help others. Nearby lives a young woman admired for her wisdom, generosity, and skill. Their families begin speaking together. Marriage is not simply about two individuals. It also strengthens the bonds between families. When the time comes, there is celebration. Friends gather. Relatives arrive from neighboring villages. Music fills the air. Drums sound with steady rhythms. Voices join together in song. People dance beneath the open sky. Children watch with excitement. Elders smile, remembering celebrations from long ago. Food is shared generously. No one leaves hungry. The wedding becomes a joyful reminder that every new family adds strength to the entire community. After marriage, daily life continues much as before. Fields still require tending. Fishing nets still need repairing. Children eventually arrive, bringing fresh laughter into the village. Grandparents eagerly welcome another generation. Life moves in gentle circles. Birth, growth, learning, marriage, parenthood, old age. Then new children begin the journey once more. As evening approaches, imagine an elderly couple sitting outside their home. The day's work is finished. The setting sun paints the sky with warm shades of orange and gold. Several grandchildren gather around them. The oldest grandchild asks a simple question. What was the village like when you were young? The grandfather smiles softly. He looks toward the forest. For a few moments, he says nothing. Then he begins. His stories are not about great riches, nor about distant adventures. Instead, he remembers familiar faces, old friends, successful harvests, the building of new homes, the birth of children, the songs sung beside evening fires. These ordinary memories become the true history of the village. Perhaps that is one of the quiet lessons waiting for us here. History is not made only by kings, or famous battles, or great discoveries. History also lives inside ordinary families, inside shared meals, patient teachers, curious children, kind neighbors. These quiet moments shape generations just as surely as any royal decision. Now the evening grows darker. Cooking fires flicker gently outside each home. Families gather together for another peaceful meal. Children slowly grow sleepy after another busy day. Parents speak softly while planning tomorrow's work. Above them, the stars appear one by one across the wide African sky. The same stars watched over their grandparents, and their grandparents before them. Time moves quietly here, never rushing, always continuing. As our own peaceful journey carries us onward, let us leave these warm family gatherings behind. In our next chapter, we will walk into the fields, forests, and rivers to discover how the people of Congo found food throughout the changing seasons. We will join farmers as they plant their crops, fishermen as they cast their nets, hunters as they follow quiet forest paths, and cooks as they prepare simple meals that bring families together each evening. Until then, imagine the gentle glow of the village fires fading beneath the stars, while the Kingdom of Kongo sleeps peacefully, ready to welcome another calm and beautiful day. As another quiet morning begins across the Kingdom of Kongo, the first rays of sunlight gently stretch across the fields. A light mist rises from the rivers, drifting slowly between the trees before disappearing into the warming air. The village is still peaceful. Only a few cooking fires have begun to glow. Somewhere nearby, a mother quietly stirs a clay pot over a small flame while the rest of her family slowly wakes. The day is new. The work of yesterday has ended. The work of today has not yet begun. For a few precious moments, everything feels wonderfully still. Take a slow breath. Imagine the fresh morning air filling your lungs. Listen to the birds greeting another sunrise. Hear the distant sound of flowing water. This gentle rhythm has welcomed the people of Kongo every morning for countless generations. Today, let us spend our time discovering how the people of this remarkable kingdom fed themselves, not through great machines or crowded markets, but through careful observation, steady work, and deep respect for the natural world. For the people of Kongo, food begins long before anyone sits down to eat. It begins with the soil. Imagine walking beside a farmer just after sunrise. He carries a wooden hoe over one shoulder. The tool is simple, shaped carefully from strong wood and fitted with an iron blade made by a local blacksmith. Years of use have polished its handle until it fits perfectly in his hands. He follows a narrow path leading toward his family's fields. The earth here is dark and rich. Generations of careful farming have taught the people which places grow healthy crops and which places should be allowed to rest. The farmer kneels for a moment. He picks up a small handful of soil. He rubs it gently between his fingers. Without speaking, he already understands much about the season ahead. Good soil has its own quiet language. Those who know how to listen rarely waste its gifts. Nearby, his wife and older children begin preparing baskets filled with seeds. Each basket represents hope. Every tiny seed carries the promise of future meals. Yet no one expects immediate results. Nature moves at its own peaceful pace. The people of Kongo understand this better than anyone. The fields are planted carefully, one row at a time, one seed after another. There is no rushing, no loud commands, only quiet concentration. Some family members gently cover each seed with soft earth. Others clear away small weeds. Even young children help by gathering stones from the fields or carrying drinking water to the adults. Everyone contributes according to their strength. Among the most important crops are yams. These large underground roots provide filling meals throughout much of the year. Growing them requires patience. Months pass between planting and harvesting. The reward comes only to those willing to wait. Nearby grow bananas. Their broad green leaves sway gently in the morning breeze. Clusters of fruit hang high above the ground, slowly ripening beneath the warm African sun. Palm trees rise gracefully across the landscape. From them come valuable palm nuts and palm oil, both used in many daily meals. There are also beans, millet, leafy vegetables, and, in later centuries, cassava and maize, which gradually become important additions after contact with other parts of the world. Every crop has its own season. Every season has its own work. As we continue our walk, we notice that the fields are never completely silent. People often sing while they work. The songs are gentle. Sometimes one person begins a simple melody. Others quietly join in. The rhythm helps everyone move together. The work feels lighter when shared with music. Children quickly learn these songs. Long before they understand every word, they know the melodies by heart. Some songs celebrate successful harvests. Others thank the land for its generosity. Still others simply make long hours pass more pleasantly. Imagine stopping beneath the shade of a tall tree near the edge of the fields. From here, you can see farmers working across the gently rolling countryside. Nobody appears hurried. The work is steady, patient, purposeful. Perhaps this slow rhythm is one reason life here feels so peaceful. The people understand that rushing cannot make crops grow faster. After leaving the fields, let us follow another narrow path toward the river. The air grows cooler as we approach the water. Tall reeds sway softly along the riverbank. Dragonflies glide above the calm surface. The river sparkles beneath the late morning sun. Several fishermen are already preparing their canoes. Each canoe has been carved from a single massive tree trunk. The smooth wood shines from years of careful use. The fishermen push the boats gently into the water. Not a single unnecessary movement is made. Everything reflects quiet experience. Imagine climbing into one of these canoes. It rocks gently beneath your feet before becoming perfectly steady. The paddle slips silently into the water. Each stroke carries the canoe a little farther downstream. The only sounds are the splash of water and the distant calls of birds hidden among the trees. Fishing here is never about taking everything the river can offer. The people understand that the river must remain healthy for future generations. Only what is needed is taken. The rest is left to grow. This balance allows the rivers to continue providing year after year. Soon one fisherman carefully lifts his woven net. Silver fish glisten in the sunlight. Some are large. Others are small enough to slip back into the river. The fisherman smiles quietly. Today's catch will feed several families. As the canoe returns to shore, children hurry forward to help carry the baskets. Everyone shares in the success. Fish are prepared in many different ways. Some are cooked immediately over open fires. Others are carefully smoked above slow-burning wood, so they will last for many days. Smoke curls gently upward through the trees, carrying a rich, comforting aroma across the village. Now let us leave the river and enter the forest once again. The shade beneath the tall trees feels wonderfully cool after the bright sunshine. This is where hunters quietly begin another kind of work. Imagine walking beside an experienced hunter. He carries a simple bow and a small bundle of arrows. Nothing about him seems hurried. He pauses often. He studies the ground. A broken twig. Fresh footprints pressed into soft mud. Leaves that have recently been disturbed. To an untrained eye, the forest appears unchanged. To the hunter, it tells many stories. He knows which animals passed during the night, which direction they traveled, how long ago they were here. Hunting is not simply a test of strength. It is a lesson in patience. Sometimes hours pass without success. The hunter does not become frustrated. He understands that the forest gives its gifts only to those who wait quietly. When an animal is taken, it is treated with respect. Nothing useful is wasted. The meat feeds families. The hide becomes clothing or useful materials. Bones may become tools. Nature's gifts are honored completely. By afternoon, the village begins preparing the evening meal. Imagine returning with everyone carrying the day's harvest. Fresh vegetables from the gardens, fish from the river, yams from the fields, wild fruits gathered from nearby trees. Cooking begins slowly. Clay pots are placed above glowing fires. Palm oil adds rich flavor to many dishes. Vegetables simmer gently. Fish roasts over glowing coals. The delicious aroma drifts through every corner of the village. Children begin gathering outside their homes. Their stomachs remind them that supper is nearly ready. Parents smile as they watch them. Meals are about far more than satisfying hunger. They are moments when the entire family comes together. Wooden bowls are placed upon woven mats. Food is shared fairly among everyone. No one rushes to finish first. Conversation fills the evening air. Children eagerly describe everything they learned during the day. An elder shares a memory from many years ago. Laughter rises softly around the fire. Visitors are always welcome. If a traveler arrives near sunset, a place is made for them. Food is offered before questions are asked. Hospitality is one of the quiet strengths of the Kingdom of Kongo. Sharing a meal creates friendship. As darkness slowly settles over the village, the last cooking fires burn gently beneath the star-filled sky. The day's work is finished. The fields rest. The rivers continue flowing. The forest grows quiet once more. Families sit together for a little while longer, enjoying the cool evening air before returning to their homes. The simple meal they have shared is more than food. It is the result of many patient hands. The farmer who planted the seed, the child who carried water, the fisherman who cast his net, the hunter who walked quietly through the forest, the cook who stirred the clay pot over the fire. Every meal tells the story of an entire community. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful lessons of all. Nothing truly important is created alone. As our own evening becomes peaceful once again, let us leave these warm cooking fires behind. In our next chapter, we will visit the skilled craftspeople of the Kingdom of Kongo. We will meet blacksmiths, potters, basket weavers, woodcarvers, and cloth makers, whose patient hands transformed the gifts of nature into beautiful and useful objects that filled every home and traveled across distant trade routes. Until then, imagine the comforting warmth of the evening fire, the quiet laughter of families finishing their meal, and the soft whisper of the forest surrounding the peaceful villages of the Kingdom of Kongo. As another peaceful night slowly gives way to morning, the Kingdom of Kongo awakens once more. The stars quietly fade above the forests. The eastern sky turns from deep blue to soft shades of gold. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves of tall palm trees, carrying with it the familiar scent of damp earth, wood smoke, and fresh morning air. The village begins to stretch awake. A rooster calls from somewhere beyond the houses. A baby laughs as its mother lifts it into the morning light. An old dog wanders lazily through the village square, already hoping someone will share a small piece of breakfast. Everything begins slowly. Nothing feels rushed. Imagine yourself walking once again through the center of a welcoming village. Yesterday, we followed the farmers into their fields and the fishermen onto the rivers. Today, however, we will spend our time with the people whose hands quietly shape the objects that fill every home. These are the craftsmen and craftswomen. Their work is patient, careful, often beautiful, yet much of it is done without seeking praise. Every village depends upon their skill. Without them, there would be no sturdy baskets for carrying harvests, no clay pots for cooking, no iron tools for farming, no finely woven cloth for clothing. Their work quietly supports every other part of life. Imagine the first workshop we visit. It belongs to a basket weaver. She sits beneath the broad branches of a large tree, where the morning shade keeps the air pleasantly cool. Beside her lie long strips of fresh palm fiber. Some are pale green. Others have already dried into warm shades of gold. Before beginning her work, she carefully examines each strip. Only the strongest will become part of the basket. Quality begins long before the weaving itself. Her fingers move slowly. One strip passes over another, then beneath, then over once again. At first the pattern seems simple, but as the basket grows, its design becomes more and more beautiful. The weaving is tight, even, balanced. Years of experience guide every movement. She hardly needs to think about where each strand belongs. Her hands already remember. Nearby, a little girl watches with quiet fascination. Every now and then she reaches for a spare strip and tries to copy the pattern. It quickly becomes tangled. She giggles. The basket weaver smiles warmly. She gently untangles the fibers and places them back into the child's hands. Again, she says softly, "Learning comes one patient attempt at a time." In the Kingdom of Kongo, skill is never expected to appear overnight. It grows slowly, like the trees themselves. As we continue through the village, another steady sound reaches our ears. Tapu, tapu, tapu. The rhythm is slow and deliberate. It comes from the blacksmith's workshop. Imagine stepping closer. A small fire burns inside a carefully built clay furnace. The heat glows orange beneath pieces of charcoal. The blacksmith pumps air into the fire using simple bellows made from animal hide and wood. Each steady movement makes the fire burn a little hotter. Soon a piece of iron begins to glow bright red. The blacksmith removes it carefully with long metal tongs. He places it upon a heavy stone, then begins shaping it with measured blows of his hammer. Not loud, not hurried. Each strike has purpose. Every movement is guided by experience. Children often stop to watch. To them, it almost seems magical. A rough piece of metal slowly changes shape. Little by little, it becomes a sharp farming blade, or perhaps a knife for preparing food, or the head of a spear used for hunting. Without the blacksmith, farmers would struggle to work the fields. Hunters would find their tasks much harder. Builders would lack the tools needed to shape wood. His work quietly supports the entire community. As the morning grows warmer, we leave the sound of hammer and anvil behind and follow another narrow path. Soon we arrive at the home of a potter. Outside her house rests a large pile of smooth river clay. She kneels beside it, adding just enough water to make it soft and easy to shape. Her hands press gently into the clay, again and again, removing tiny stones, smoothing every lump. Only then does she begin creating a pot. Slowly, the walls rise beneath her careful fingers. Round, even, graceful. The shape seems almost alive. There is no wheel here, only skilled hands guided by years of practice. Once finished, the pots are left to dry beneath the warm sun. Later, they are fired inside carefully prepared kilns until they become strong enough for everyday use. These clay pots are found in nearly every home. They hold drinking water, cook soups and stews, store grain safely through changing seasons. Simple objects perhaps, yet deeply important. Imagine how many family meals begin inside one of these quiet clay vessels. Nearby, another family works with wood. The scent of freshly cut timber fills the air. A woodcarver sits upon a low stool with several simple tools spread neatly beside him. His newest project is a stool for an elder. He studies the wood for several moments before making the first cut. The grain tells him how the tree wishes to be shaped. He follows its natural lines rather than forcing it. Slowly, beautiful patterns begin appearing. Gentle curves, small geometric designs, perhaps the image of an animal important to local tradition. Every carving carries meaning. Many wooden objects become family treasures, passed from one generation to another. Not because they are expensive, but because they were made with care. Across the village, another group sits weaving cloth from plant fibers. Their work requires remarkable patience. Threads must remain straight. The tension must stay even. Colors must fit together beautifully. The finished cloth may become clothing, blankets, ceremonial garments, or valuable trading goods carried far beyond the kingdom itself. As we walk through the village, it becomes clear that almost every useful object has been created by someone's hands. Nothing arrives from distant factories. Every bowl, every basket, every hoe, every fishing net, every woven mat carries the memory of the person who made it. Perhaps this gives each object a quiet kind of life. By midday, the workshops begin slowing as the heat grows stronger. Craftsmen rest beneath shady trees. Children bring drinking water. Neighbors stop to admire one another's work. Nobody sees another craftsman as merely a competitor. Instead, each person's skill strengthens the whole village. Now let us continue toward one of the kingdom's lively marketplaces. The road leading there becomes steadily busier. Merchants arrive carrying goods from many different villages. Some balance heavy baskets upon their heads. Others lead small goats. Several fishermen carry bundles of smoked fish, wrapped carefully in broad leaves. The marketplace soon comes into view. Imagine a wide open space filled with woven mats displaying countless useful objects. Bright cloth catches the sunlight. Neatly stacked clay pots stand beside carved wooden bowls. Bundles of medicinal herbs release gentle, earthy scents. Fresh fruit fills large baskets. Palm oil glows golden inside carefully sealed containers. There is movement everywhere. Yet unlike many busy markets in the modern world, the atmosphere feels calm. People greet one another before discussing trade. Old friends stop to share news. Children follow their parents, looking curiously at everything around them. Trading is about far more than buying and selling. It is also about maintaining friendships between villages. A merchant who treats people fairly earns trust. That trust becomes more valuable than any single day's profit. Imagine watching two traders discussing a beautifully woven basket. Neither rushes. Both smile. They examine the craftsmanship. They agree upon a fair exchange. Perhaps cloth for baskets, or salt for pottery. Money is not always necessary. Trust often serves just as well. The marketplace becomes a place where ideas travel alongside goods. A farmer learns of a new planting method from another province. A traveler describes distant forests. Someone speaks of unusual animals seen near the great river. News spreads gently from conversation to conversation. By late afternoon, the marketplace begins to quiet. Merchants carefully pack away the goods that remain. Children help carry baskets back toward their villages. The roads once again fill with peaceful travelers returning home before sunset. As evening approaches, every craftsman carries not only finished work, but also quiet satisfaction. The basket weaver has completed another strong basket. The blacksmith has repaired several farming tools. The potter has shaped new vessels that will soon feed families. The woodcarver has nearly finished his beautiful stool. Their work may seem ordinary, yet without it, village life would quickly become much more difficult. Perhaps this is another gentle lesson from the Kingdom of Kongo. Great civilizations are built not only by rulers. They are built by ordinary people who perform ordinary tasks with extraordinary care. As darkness slowly settles over the village, workshops fall silent. The fires inside the blacksmiths forge cool. Freshly woven baskets rest neatly against the walls of nearby homes. Clay pots wait quietly for tomorrow's meals. The tools of another productive day are carefully stored away. Above, countless stars appear once again across the peaceful African sky. Families gather around their evening fires. Craftsmen become storytellers. Parents become teachers. Children become eager listeners. The day's work gently fades into another quiet night. And so, as our own journey continues, let us leave the workshops and marketplaces behind. In our next chapter, we will explore the spiritual heart of the Kingdom of Kongo. Together, we will discover the beliefs, ceremonies, ancestors, sacred traditions, and quiet understanding of the unseen world that helped guide everyday life for generations, long before and after new religions arrived upon these distant shores. Until then, imagine the soft glow of the village fires reflected upon beautifully crafted clay pots, woven baskets, carved wood, and smiling faces, all resting peacefully beneath the endless canopy of stars. As another gentle evening settles over the Kingdom of Kongo, let us continue our peaceful walk through this remarkable land. The workshops have grown quiet. The baskets have been placed neatly inside family homes. The blacksmith's fire has faded into glowing embers. The marketplace has emptied as travelers found their way back to their villages before nightfall. Now a calm silence spreads across the countryside. The moon slowly rises above the forests. Its soft silver light rests upon the rivers, touches the broad leaves of the banana trees, and slips quietly through the branches of ancient forests. Families gather around small evening fires. Children lean against their parents after another busy day. The youngest are already beginning to close their sleepy eyes. The oldest remain awake just a little longer. This is often the time when stories are told. Not only stories meant to entertain, but stories meant to remember. For tonight, we will gently explore something that cannot always be seen. The beliefs that quietly shaped everyday life in the Kingdom of Kongo. Imagine sitting beside one of those warm evening fires. The flames rise and fall with the soft breeze. Tiny sparks drift upward toward the stars before disappearing into the darkness. An elder sits nearby. His face carries the gentle lines of many years. His voice is soft, unhurried. Every child around the fire grows quiet, not because anyone tells them to, but because they know something important is about to be shared. The elder begins speaking about those who came before. Grandparents, great-grandparents, ancestors whose names are still remembered with respect. In the Kingdom of Kongo, family does not end with those who are living today. The people believe that the generations before them remain part of the great story of the community. The ancestors are remembered with gratitude. They cleared the first fields, built the first homes, protected the villages, taught the first songs, passed down the skills that still guide everyday life. Without them, there would be no village, no traditions, no stories, no kingdom. Because of this, remembering those who came before is considered a quiet duty. Imagine a family preparing for a special gathering. Early in the morning, they carefully clean the space around their home. Fresh water is brought. Food is prepared with care. The oldest members of the family quietly speak the names of loved ones who have passed away. Not with sadness alone, but with thankfulness. The stories continue. Children hear about the kindness of a grandmother who always welcomed strangers, about a grandfather who knew every path through the forest, about an aunt whose beautiful baskets were admired across many villages. As long as their stories are told, they are never truly forgotten. Perhaps this is one of the most comforting ideas of all. That memory itself becomes a gift. The people of Kongo also believe that the world around them is filled with meaning. The great rivers, the forests, the mountains, the changing seasons. Everything has its place. Everything deserves respect. Nature is not simply a collection of useful resources. It is part of a living world that connects people with one another and with those who came before them. Imagine standing quietly beside a large river at sunrise. Mist drifts slowly above the water. The surface is so calm that it reflects the sky like polished glass. A fisherman pauses before beginning his work. For just a moment, he stands silently. He does not hurry. He understands that the river has provided food for countless generations. His quiet pause is a simple act of respect. Many such moments fill daily life. Not dramatic ceremonies, just small reminders to remain thankful. As we continue our gentle walk, we arrive beneath a great tree standing near the edge of a village. Its branches spread wide above the earth. Its roots disappear deep into the soil. The tree has stood here longer than anyone can remember. Many important conversations have taken place beneath its shade. Village elders have settled disagreements here. Families have gathered here during celebrations. Children have listened to stories beneath these same branches. Places like this become special not because of magic, but because generations have filled them with memory. The people understand that certain places carry deep meaning. They remind everyone of the connection between the past and the present. Imagine now a healer walking quietly through the forest. She carries a woven basket upon her arm. Inside are small knives, bundles of dried leaves, and empty containers waiting to be filled. She knows where certain plants grow. One leaf helps calm a fever. Another root eases pain. A particular bark may help a wound heal. This knowledge has been passed from one generation to another through careful teaching. The healer does not simply gather plants. She gathers wisdom. Each medicine tells the story of centuries of careful observation. Children who accompany her learn not only which plants to collect, but also how to harvest them respectfully. Only what is needed is taken. The forest must continue caring for future generations. As afternoon arrives, imagine another gathering taking place. Several families have come together to celebrate an important moment in village life. Perhaps a successful harvest. Perhaps the completion of a new home. Perhaps the welcoming of a newborn child. Music begins softly. A drum sounds with a steady heartbeat-like rhythm. Wooden rattles add gentle patterns. Voices join together in song. The melodies rise into the warm afternoon air. No one performs for applause. Everyone participates. Music belongs to the whole community. Some begin to dance. Their movements are graceful, unhurried. Each step follows rhythms that have echoed through these villages for countless years. Children imitate the adults with cheerful determination. Grandparents smile warmly as they watch another generation learning familiar traditions. Celebrations are joyful, but they are also thoughtful. They remind everyone that life is something to be shared. As evening approaches once more, let us imagine another quiet moment. A father and his young son walk together beneath a sky turning golden with sunset. The boy asks a simple question. Why do we remember our ancestors? His father smiles gently. He looks toward the distant hills before answering. Because one day, he says softly, others will remember us. The boy thinks quietly. No more words are needed. Sometimes the simplest answer remain with us the longest. The people of Kongo understand that every kind action becomes part of a much larger story. Every lesson taught to a child, every field planted, every meal shared, every traveler welcomed, every disagreement settled peacefully. These small acts become the inheritance left for future generations. Perhaps that is what gives life its quiet beauty. As the sky grows darker, countless stars begin appearing once again. Families gather around evening fires. An elder begins another familiar story. Children lean closer. The flames flicker gently across smiling faces. The forest beyond the village grows peaceful. Owls begin their nightly calls. Crickets sing beneath the grass. The river continues flowing beneath the moonlight. Everything feels connected. The living, the remembered, the forests, the rivers, the stars above. The Kingdom of Kongo rests within this quiet harmony. As our own peaceful journey continues, let us gently leave the evening fire behind. In our next chapter, we will discover the joyful sounds of music, festivals, storytelling, games, and celebrations that brought neighbors together throughout the changing seasons. We will see how happiness was shared not through great luxury, but through friendship, song, dance, laughter, and the simple pleasure of gathering beneath the open African sky. Until then, imagine the warm glow of the fire growing softer, the voices becoming quiet whispers, and the peaceful Kingdom of Kongo sleeping beneath a sky filled with endless stars. As another calm day slowly draws to a close, the Kingdom of Kongo begins preparing for the most peaceful hours of all. The afternoon sun hangs low above the forests. Long shadows stretch gently across the village paths. Farmers return from the field with woven baskets resting lightly upon their heads. Fishermen guide their canoes back to the riverbank after another successful day upon the water. Children run ahead to greet their parents, their cheerful voices drifting through the warm evening air. Soon, the familiar scent of supper rises from dozens of cooking fires. The village is alive, yet never noisy. Busy, yet never hurried. Now imagine yourself walking slowly toward the open space at the center of the village. During the day, this place belongs to work and conversation. But tonight, it becomes something different. Tonight, it becomes a place of music, stories, friendship, and celebration. Not because a great king is visiting. Not because an important battle has been won. Simply because people enjoy being together. The people of the Kingdom of Kongo understand that joy does not always come from extraordinary events. Sometimes it grows quietly from ordinary evenings, shared with family and neighbors. As the sky turns from bright blue to soft shades of orange, the first musicians begin arriving. One carries a beautifully carved drum beneath his arm. Another holds a small rattle woven from dried gourds and filled with tiny seeds. A third carefully tunes a stringed instrument made from wood, animal skin, and plant fibers. Each instrument has been crafted by skilled hands. Each carries the memory of the person who made it. The musicians do not stand apart from everyone else. They sit among friends. Children gather nearby with curious eyes. The oldest villagers smile gently, already recognizing familiar melodies before the first note is even played. Then with one slow tap, the evening begins. The drum speaks first. Not loudly, just a steady, comforting rhythm. Soft, even, almost like a heartbeat. Another drum quietly joins. Then the rattles. Soon voices rise together in song. The melodies are simple, easy to remember. Children sing beside their parents. Grandparents quietly join, with voices softened by many years. Nobody worries about singing perfectly. The purpose is not performance. It is togetherness. Imagine closing your eyes for a moment. You hear only the steady rhythm of drums, gentle voices, the crackling of nearby fires, the evening breeze moving through tall trees. It feels peaceful, safe, welcoming. Music is woven into nearly every part of life. Songs accompany planting and harvesting. They help fishermen keep a steady rhythm while paddling. They light long hours of weaving or grinding grain. Some songs celebrate joyful occasions. Others quietly remember those who came before. There are lullabies sung to sleepy bobbies, playful songs shared by children during games, ceremonial songs heard during important community gatherings. Each melody carries its own purpose. Each becomes another thread, connecting one generation to the next. As the music continues, several young people step into the open space. They begin to dance. Their movements are graceful, natural, unhurried. Each step follows the rhythm of the drums. Soon others join. Some dance in pairs, some alone, some in wide circles that slowly grow larger as more villagers become part of the celebration. Even the youngest children try to imitate the older dancers. Their movements are sometimes clumsy. They laugh at themselves. The adults laugh with kindness. No one is embarrassed. Every expert dancer was once a child taking uncertain first steps. The elders watch proudly. They remember learning these same dances when they were young. Tradition lives not only through memory, it lives through participation. As twilight deepens, the music gradually becomes softer. The drums rest for a while. Now another treasured tradition begins. Storytelling. Imagine everyone settling comfortably around several glowing fires. Children move closer until they sit almost at the storyteller's feet. The oldest storyteller in the village clears his throat gently. A smile crosses his weathered face. He has told these stories many times before. Yet tonight they feel just as alive as ever. He begins with familiar words. Words that generations of children have eagerly waited to hear. His voice is calm, steady, filled with quiet warmth. Tonight's tale tells of a clever tortoise who succeeds not through great strength, but through patience and careful thinking. The children listen with complete attention. They laugh at the tortoise's clever ideas. They shake their heads at the foolish mistakes made by larger animals. Without realizing it, they are learning. Patience, humility, wisdom, kindness. These lessons remain in their hearts long after the story has ended. On another evening, perhaps the storyteller speaks of brave ancestors who founded the village, or a hunter who learned to respect the forest, or a generous traveler whose kindness was returned many years later. Every story carries a gentle lesson. No lecture is needed. The lesson quietly finds its place inside the listener. As the evening continues, another fire becomes surrounded by older villagers. Here the stories are different. They remember real people. Grandparents, village leaders, craftsmen whose work was admired, healers who cared for many families. Their memories become part of the living history of the community. Children listening nearby slowly begin to understand that history is not something distant. It belongs to their own families, to their own village, to themselves. Imagine a little girl resting her head upon her grandmother's shoulder. Her eyes grow heavy as another story reaches its peaceful ending. She may not remember every word tomorrow, but she will remember the feeling, the warmth of the fire, the sound of familiar voices, the comfort of belonging. Sometimes those quiet feelings become the strongest memories of all. Not every celebration is the same. Throughout the year, the changing seasons bring different reasons to gather. A successful harvest fills the village with gratitude. Families prepare larger meals. Extra food is shared with neighbors. Music continues late into the evening. When a new home is completed, friends gather to celebrate the family's hard work. When a child is welcomed into the community, relatives travel from nearby villages to offer blessings and gifts. Marriage celebrations fill the air with joyful singing and dancing. Each event reminds everyone that happiness grows when shared. Even visitors are welcomed warmly. Imagine a traveler arriving just before sunset after several days upon the road. He knows no one in this village. Yet before long, someone offers him water. Another invites him to share the evening meal. A place is found for him beside the fire. By nightfall, he is no longer a stranger. Hospitality is not considered extraordinary. It is simply the proper way to treat another human being. Perhaps this quiet generosity is one of the kingdom's greatest strengths. As the moon rises higher into the night sky, the music slowly becomes quieter once again. The youngest children have already fallen asleep against their parents. The dancers return to their seats. The storyteller finishes one final tale. For a few moments, everyone simply watches the fire. Nobody feels the need to fill every silence with words. The silence itself is peaceful, comfortable. Above them stretches a sky crowded with stars. Without city lights, every constellation shines brightly. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens like another great river flowing silently overhead. Many people pause to look upward. The same stars watched over their ancestors. The same stars will watch over future generations. There is quiet comfort in that thought. The fires gradually burn lower. Families begin returning to their homes. Parents gently carry sleeping children, wrapped in soft woven cloth. The musicians carefully gather their instruments. The storytellers smile as the last listeners thank him quietly before leaving. Soon only the gentle sounds of insects remain. The village rests once more. Another ordinary evening has passed. Yet perhaps there is nothing ordinary about evenings like these. They strengthen friendships, preserve traditions, teach children, comfort the elderly, and remind everyone that a peaceful life is often built from many small moments shared together. As our own quiet journey through the Kingdom of Kongo continues, let us gently leave this welcoming gathering behind. In our next chapter, we will witness a new and unexpected chapter in the kingdom's history. We will quietly explore the arrival of Portuguese sailors on the western coast of Central Africa, the first meetings between two very different worlds, the exchange of ideas, beliefs, goods, and customs, and the gradual changes that would reshape the Kingdom of Kongo over the centuries, all told with the same calm, thoughtful spirit that has guided our journey from the beginning. Until then, imagine the final glowing embers of the evening fire, the soft echo of distant drums fading into the night, and the peaceful Kingdom of Kongo sleeping beneath an endless canopy of stars. As another quiet dawn unfolds across the Kingdom of Kongo, a cool breeze drifts inland from the distant Atlantic Ocean. Far to the west, where the great rivers eventually meet the sea, waves roll gently onto quiet shores. Seabirds circle above the water, and fishermen prepare their canoes just as their fathers and grandfathers did before them. For countless generations, the rhythm of life has remained familiar. The forests have offered shade. The rivers have offered fish. The fields have offered harvests. The villages have offered friendship. The kingdom has grown steadily through the wisdom of its people. Yet history, like every river, sometimes carries unexpected visitors. Today, our gentle journey brings us to one of those quiet turning points. Not a single dramatic moment. Not one day that changed everything. But the beginning of a long meeting between two very different worlds. Imagine standing upon a sandy beach early in the morning. The sea stretches farther than the eye can see. The horizon seems endless. Local fishermen pull their nets from the water while talking softly among themselves. Children search for smooth shells left behind by the night's tide. Everything feels wonderfully ordinary. Then someone notices something unusual. Far away beyond the waves, small shapes appear. At first they seem like distant birds. Slowly they grow larger. Their tall white sails catch the morning sunlight. The vessels move steadily toward the shore. For many people watching from the beach, this is a sight unlike anything they have ever seen. The ships belong to Portuguese explorers. During the late 15th century, Portuguese sailors were sailing farther along the western coast of Africa than ever before, searching for new trade routes, knowledge, and opportunities. Their voyages eventually brought them into contact with the Kingdom of Kongo, beginning a relationship that would shape both societies for many years to come. Imagine the quiet curiosity on both sides. The villagers watch carefully. The sailors do the same. Neither group fully understands the language of the other. Neither knows what the future will bring. There is uncertainty, but there is also curiosity. One careful step follows another. Small boats leave the larger ships. They glide toward the shore. The visitors step onto the sand. Their clothing looks unfamiliar. Their hats, boots, and metal objects attract many curious eyes. The people of Kongo, in turn, appear equally fascinating to the newcomers. Their woven garments, their beautiful jewelry, their graceful confidence, their organized communities. Each group realizes they are meeting people with customs different from their own. The first conversations rely more upon gestures than words. A smile, a respectful bow, an offered gift. Simple actions become the beginning of communication. Over time, interpreters slowly emerge. Languages are learned. Questions are asked. Answers are patiently shared. The Kingdom of Kongo is not an isolated village surprised by the outside world. It is already a well-organized kingdom with experienced leaders, skilled merchants, and long-established systems of government. The Portuguese quickly recognize this. They discover that they are meeting a kingdom with its own traditions, laws, and respected ruler. Imagine messengers traveling from the coast toward Kongo. They carry news of the strange visitors. Village after village passes the information along. Eventually, word reaches the royal court. The king listens carefully. He does not rush to judgment. Instead, he asks questions. Who are these travelers? Where have they come from? Why have they crossed such a vast ocean? What do they seek? Careful observation has always been one of the kingdom's strengths. Now it becomes more valuable than ever. In time, representatives from both sides meet. Gifts are exchanged. The Portuguese offer finely crafted metal goods, colorful fabrics, glass beads, and other objects brought from Europe. The people of Kongo present beautifully woven cloth, carved ivory, local crafts, and other treasured products from their own kingdom. These exchanges are more than trade. They are signs of mutual respect. Each side wishes to understand the other a little better. Imagine one Portuguese traveler walking through Kongo for the first time. He notices the wide streets, the organized neighborhoods, the busy markets, the respectful behavior shown toward elders and leaders. Much of what he sees challenges the assumptions he may have carried from home. Likewise, visitors from Kongo observe unfamiliar European clothing, writing, religious objects, and ships unlike anything they have previously encountered. Both sides have much to learn. One of the most important changes comes through religion. Portuguese missionaries arrive carrying the Christian faith. They build churches. They teach new prayers. They explain stories from the Bible. Some members of the royal family become interested in these teachings. Perhaps the most well-known ruler during this period is Nzinga Nkuwu, who accepted baptism and took the Christian name Joai later. His son Afonso I became one of the kingdom's most influential Christian kings, encouraging education, literacy, and diplomatic ties with Portugal while also working to preserve the dignity of his own kingdom. Imagine young students gathering to learn something entirely new. Writing. For generations, history has lived mainly through spoken words. Now letters begin appearing upon paper. Names can be written. Messages can travel greater distances without relying only upon memory. Books arrive from Europe. Teachers patiently explain unfamiliar symbols. Some young people become fascinated by this new way of preserving knowledge. Others continue valuing the traditional wisdom passed through storytelling. For many years, both traditions exist side by side. The old and the new quietly sharing the same world. Trade also grows stronger. Ships cross the Atlantic carrying goods in both directions. Copper, ivory, cloth, metal tools, beautiful crafts. Ideas travel alongside these products. New farming techniques, new styles of clothing, different kinds of music, new architectural influences. Cultures begin learning from one another. Yet not every change brings comfort. As time passes, the growing Atlantic slave trade casts a long and painful shadow over many parts of Central Africa. Some Portuguese merchants and later traders from other European nations became deeply involved in buying and transporting enslaved Africans across the ocean. This trade caused immense suffering, separated countless families, and placed increasing pressure on the Kingdom of Kongo and its neighbors. King Afonso I himself wrote letters to the Portuguese crown expressing concern and asking that the unlawful capture and sale of his people be stopped. His letters reveal a ruler trying to protect his kingdom during a period of profound and difficult change. Imagine the quiet concern felt by village elders. They notice that the world beyond the forests is changing. The familiar rhythms of life continue. Fields are still planted. Children still play. Stories are still told around evening fires. Yet distant events now reach the kingdom more quickly than before. The people adapt as best they can. Some embrace new customs. Others hold firmly to older traditions. Many choose a path somewhere between the two. History rarely moves in simple directions. It is often a gentle weaving together of old threads and new ones. As the years become decades, the Kingdom of Kongo continues to evolve. Church bells may ring in one village, while traditional songs are sung in another. Written letters travel alongside spoken messages. European cloth appears beside beautifully woven local textiles. New influences arrive, yet many ancient customs remain deeply rooted. The kingdom becomes a place where different worlds meet, sometimes peacefully, sometimes with difficulty, always leaving their mark upon one another. As evening falls, imagine once more the quiet villages we have come to know so well. Children gather around familiar fires. Grandparents continue telling stories. Farmers prepare for another sunrise. The rivers continue flowing toward the sea. The forests whisper in the evening breeze. Even as history changes, much of everyday life remains comfortingly familiar. Perhaps that is one of history's gentlest lessons. Great events may shape kingdoms, but ordinary people continue planting gardens, sharing meals, raising children, and caring for one another. Their quiet lives remain the true heartbeat of every civilization. Now the stars appear once again above the Kingdom of Kongo. The ocean reflects the moonlight. The villages settle into peaceful sleep. And our own journey grows closer to its final chapter. In the next and final part of our story, we will take one last slow walk through the Kingdom of Kongo. Together, we will reflect upon everything we have discovered, from quiet forests and welcoming villages to bustling markets, royal courts, family traditions, and changing times. before gently saying goodnight to this remarkable kingdom that has rested peacefully beside us throughout our journey. Until then, let the sound of distant waves, the whisper of forest leaves, and the steady flow of the great rivers carry you softly into the final chapter of our peaceful walk through history. Our journey is almost at its end now. The night has grown deep. The stars shine quietly above the forests of Central Africa, just as they have for countless generations. The moon hangs gently over the winding rivers, painting silver reflections upon calm waters that never seem to stop flowing. The Kingdom of Kongo has become very quiet. The cooking fires have burned low. The songs have faded into silence. Only the gentle voices of crickets, the distant call of an owl, and the soft whisper of leaves moving in the evening breeze remain awake. Imagine taking one final slow walk through this remarkable kingdom. There is no destination now. No lesson waiting around the next corner. Only peaceful memories. We begin once more beside the great river. The same river that carried fishermen in carved wooden canoes. The same river that connected distant villages. The same river that reflected the morning sky while children played along its gentle banks. Even now, beneath the moonlight, it continues its quiet journey toward the sea. Water never hurries, yet somehow it always reaches where it needs to go. Perhaps there is something comforting in that thought. As we leave the river behind, we follow a familiar path through the forest. The tall trees stand peacefully around us. Their roots reach deep into the earth. Their branches stretch high toward the stars. Generations have walked beneath these same trees. Hunters moved quietly along these paths. Healers gathered leaves and roots with grateful hands. Children learned the names of birds from their grandparents. Nothing in the forest asked to be remembered. Yet everything became part of memory. Soon the trees begin to open. The village appears before us once again. Warm light still glows softly from a few homes. Most families are already asleep. Tomorrow will bring another day of work. Another day of laughter. Another day of learning. Inside one home, a baby sleeps peacefully beside its mother. Inside another, an elderly couple rests after sharing stories with their grandchildren. Nearby, a young craftsman dreams of finishing the beautiful stool he began carving yesterday. A farmer quietly wonders whether tomorrow's weather will be kind to the growing crops. Life continues. Simple, steady, gentle. Imagine walking slowly through the center of the village. During our journey, we watched children playing games beneath the great tree. We listened to storytellers whose voices carried the wisdom of many generations. We watched musicians filling peaceful evening with songs that seemed to rise naturally from the earth itself. Now the village square rests in silence. The drums wait patiently for another celebration. The storyteller's seat stands empty. The dancing has ended for the night. Yet somehow, it feels as though the echoes of laughter still linger gently in the cool evening air. We continue walking toward the fields. The crops rest beneath the moonlight. Tomorrow, farmers will once again care for them with patient hands. The yams continue growing beneath the soil. Banana leaves move softly in the breeze. Palm trees stand quietly against the starlit sky. Nature keeps its own gentle rhythm. It asks only for patience. The people of Kongo understood this well. They knew that no amount of worry could make seeds grow faster. No amount of hurry could change the seasons. Instead, they trusted time. There is wisdom in that quiet trust. As we continue our walk, we pass the blacksmith's workshop. The fire has gone out. Only a few warm ashes remain. The hammer rests beside the anvil. Nearby, the basket weaver's newest creations lean carefully against the wall of her home. Freshly shaped clay pots wait quietly outside the potter's house. Every craft tells the story of hands that worked with care rather than speed. Perhaps that is another lesson worth carrying home. Beautiful things often require patience. They grow slowly, one careful step at a time. Farther ahead, the road climbs gently toward Mbanza, Kongo. The royal capital sleeps peacefully beneath the stars. Its marketplaces are empty now. Its messengers have finished their journeys. The king has long since retired for the evening. Tomorrow, new decisions will be made. New visitors will arrive. New messages will travel across the kingdom. Yet tonight, even the seat of power rests quietly. Kings sleep beneath the same stars as farmers. Children, craftsmen, travelers. In the end, every person belongs to the same great rhythm of day and night. As we look toward the western horizon, we remember the ships that once appeared from beyond the sea. Their arrival brought change, new ideas, new friendships, new challenges. History is rarely still. It moves gently forward, carrying every generation with it. Some traditions remain, others slowly change. Yet kindness, family, wisdom, patience, these continue to endure. Long after kingdoms rise and change, these quiet values remain. Perhaps that is why the story of the Kingdom of Kongo still feels so meaningful today. Not because it was perfect. No kingdom ever is. But because its people understood the importance of community. They cared for their families. They respected their elders. They welcomed travelers. They worked with steady hands. They listened to stories. They celebrated together. They remembered those who came before. These are simple things. Yet simple things often become the strongest foundations of a peaceful life. Now imagine sitting beneath the same great tree where village elders once gathered. The night is wonderfully still. A soft breeze brushes across your face. Above you, countless stars fill the sky from one horizon to the other. The Milky Way stretches overhead like a quiet river of light. Somewhere in the distance, water continues flowing through the darkness. An owl calls once. Then all becomes still again. Take a slow breath. Allow your shoulders to relax. Feel the calm of this ancient kingdom surrounding you. Imagine the warm earth beneath your feet. The scent of wood smoke lingering softly in the air. The quiet comfort of knowing that, for a little while, you have walked beside people who lived many centuries ago. People whose names history has often forgotten. Yet whose lives were filled with the same hopes that people carry today. To care for their families. To share meals with friends. To raise children with kindness. To work honestly. To rest peacefully at the end of the day. History sometimes speaks most softly when it tells the stories of ordinary people. Tonight, the Kingdom of Kongo has shared those quiet stories with us. As our journey finally comes to an end, thank you for joining me on this peaceful walk through one of Africa's great kingdoms. I hope these gentle stories have brought you a little closer to a world that existed many centuries ago, where forests whispered in the evening breeze, rivers carried canoes through green landscapes, storytellers gathered children around glowing fires, and patient hands built communities that endured through generations. If you enjoyed spending this quiet evening exploring history together, I would truly appreciate your support. Please consider liking this video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel. It helps this peaceful community continue to grow, and it allows us to take many more gentle journeys into the past together. Now, there is nothing more you need to do. The village is asleep. The forests are quiet. The rivers continue flowing beneath the moonlight. The stars keep their silent watch above the Kingdom of Kongo. So let your thoughts become as peaceful as the gentle breeze moving through the palm trees. Let the sounds of the ancient forest slowly fade into the distance. May your mind become calm. May your heart feel light. And may you drift into a deep, restful sleep, carrying with you the quiet memories of the Kingdom of Kongo. Good night. And until our next peaceful journey through history, sleep well.